offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again another day committed to being your consumer advocate, and all about helping you win in any marketplace, as we say, helping you with your buying decisions, serving the community as your consumer advocate with our goal is to help you win, as we say.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Now, we want you to save our hotline. Give us a call or text anytime you need some advice, you need some connections. We've got attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, all types of great real estate related companies here associated with the show. Reach out to the hotline, 813-750-0550. We love it when the hotline rings, 813-750-0550. That's our consumer advocate hotline. Call or text that. Also hit the website, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors, the finest folks in Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region of Florida that we've assembled and we've vetted and we bring on the show to help you understand your buying decisions and make you just a bit more street smart, as we say here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. This segment is brought to you by Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning. The official cleaning partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning. They're also COVID-19 certified, and they are a great company to work with. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. Woman-owned company right here in Tampa Bay, minority-owned company as well. Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning, $15 off for the first cleaning to any of our radio and TV show family out there. So we greatly appreciate you supporting our show partners, 80 different categories of consumer advocate advice and content here. We got a special lineup for you today, great lineup. We're going to welcome in Kristian Krempel, producer. He's a movie producer, Power Station. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, welcome. Good morning.
Yeah, man, good stuff happening. And you got a great history, and kind of give our audience a little overview of what you might want to talk about today.
Well, I'm a Florida native, originally from Sarasota, Florida, and left 20 odd years ago and have been in Hollywood producing for the Grammy Awards and the American Music Awards and Billboard Awards, and decided about 20 months ago to come back to Florida and bring my Hollywood friends to Tampa and shoot some indie films here. It's a great airport, great beaches, wonderful real estate, and Disney's like, an hour away.
That's right. Yeah, good stuff, man. So got a nice resume to your. What can you mention some of the films that you've been involved with? I think it was Blair Witch Project.
Sure.
And some
yeah. Currently, we're shooting a series. We're just about ready to start episode 2 in March, middle of March. We got episode 1 out of the way. It's called Black Veil, Southern Gothic, and it's 6 independent episodes, 6 episodes, all tied together with the connective tissue. But what I've done is I've brought together 6 iconic filmmakers and partners. And one is Dan Myrick with Blair Witch, and Jeffrey Reddick with Final Destination, and Tom McLaughlin with Friday the 13th. And these are all creators. Danny McBride with Underworld. And then my CGI guy is Alex Popoff, who created the film 300. So I brought a couple friends around with a bigger resume than mine, and down to Florida, and get back as soon as we get back into production. We'll be everybody will be here. So
that's exciting, man. That sounds like an all-star team you've got there. So looking forward to possibly teaming up on our venture here as well. Excited about that with Captain Will Smith and his story as well, Falling from the Sky.
Absolutely, I think it's a great tie-in here now, and with Tampa and Bill Gates and Jeff Reddick putting as much money as they have into downtown, and obviously pandemic notwithstanding, at some point we will get back to something. And this is a great opportunity to tie everybody in. I mean, we all live here in Tampa, so let's showcase it.
Absolutely, it's going to be awesome. And we also have our expert contributor for all things mortgage and finance here, a real estate expert as well, Diane Vance. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me, Brandon.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Always look forward to your updates. And what are you seeing out there? I know it's such a boom time. People are a lot of times wondering, hey, what's going on with the market? The rates are so low. It seems like things are happening. In COVID-19, people have misconceptions about COVID and how that's affected things. But it's a true story when you hear it right from your side.
Absolutely, it's very interesting. Well, for instance, inventory a year ago in July, you had 5,062 homes. This year we only have 3,539, so it's down 30%. However, sales are actually higher. So houses are flying off the they're getting gobbled up very fast. And we have a lot. I'm going to talk today about understanding the loan process a little bit because that's very confusing to a lot of people. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. But the market is a hot market right now. There's a shortage of inventory, as you know. But I will tell you, as soon as the houses go in the market, there are several people going after that same house. So it's a good idea to get pre-approved on a loan.
Yeah, it's interesting also when you think about where people are moving from. I know in the pre-show, you and Kristian were kind of talking a little bit about some of the migration, the mass migration that's happening right now from states like California. I've heard on different podcasts. I watched Patrick Beck David. He's got a great channel out there. And he was talking about just the streets now in California are littered with homeless people. They let, I think it was 3,500 supposedly non-violent offenders out. So they're all over the streets, and who knows what's going to happen there with disease and stuff. And then you got New York, New Jersey, just these states that are just kind of, liberally ran, and they're just not, they're looking for government bailouts. And so many people are moving from those states down to Florida.
Oh yeah, the income tax especially. So, they changed, taxes are high in a lot of these states, and people are realizing, hey, I can move to Florida and not pay income tax. So you get a raise immediately. So especially with working remote, we're seeing more and more people moving to Florida because they now can work remotely. Whereas before, I'm having them come from all over the country. A lot of people from California, a ton of people from Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Washington, D.C. It's amazing to me how many people are moving. And their employers, of course, they still keep their same jobs, a lot of them. And you do have to have a job. So, but a lot of them are actually, they're actually, because remote, they can work anyway. So we've actually seen a big increase of people relocating here.
Yeah, and that's a trend that we've seen. We see that as well. You look at where people are migrating from, the reasons why, a lot of the taxes, as you mentioned, the failed policies of some of these states. And of course, it's not a bad thing to live in paradise here as we do. And so what are some of the consumer tips? I always like to attack those misnomers that people have. A lot of people think, I got to put 20-30% down on a mortgage, or what are some of those misnomers that you're seeing, Diane?
Well, a lot of people always want to put 20% down, but money is cheap right now, right? So you can purchase a home. So we have several programs. You can put 3% down, depending on your income, depending if you're a first-time home buyer, 5%, 3.5% on FHA. So you have mortgage insurance premium, and depending on your credit score, mortgage insurance premium can be very affordable. And so why save? Interest rates are so low. Why wait to save? Why not have the mortgage insurance on there? Because you can do a couple things, again, depending on your credit scores. You can pay it monthly, or you can buy it out. It's called, prepay it, a single premium. And, I've had some people buy it out for as little as 1.1% with 10% down because their credit score was high. You can actually, we can do a lender paid portion, just depending on, again, credit scores. But the monthly, if you do a monthly premium, then it's eliminated when the loan to value hits 78%. In other words, when you have 22% equity in your house, it will go away. If you don't do anything, it takes approximately 10 years to drop off. But it's better than. It's probably, dinner out once a month for the price of mortgage insurance premium, depending on where you eat.
Right, yeah, exactly. And if you just joined us, we're talking with Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, longtime friend of the program and an expert contributor with all things finance and real estate right here in Tampa Bay. And we urge you to support this local economy and working with local vendors, local companies that are going to contribute back to our economy. And it's just going to trickle back. We're going to see how that's going to stay locally, and more to come on that as well. But wanted to talk about, just for example, a listing. Here's a listing I just took, Diane. 1010 Bay Esplanade over in Clearwater. It's on the north side of Clearwater Beach. So for a property like this, it's listed around $800,000. Again, it's 1010 Bay Esplanade, north side of Clearwater Beach, 3,100 plus square feet. You got a beautiful sun deck type balcony overlooking the intercoastal waterways and the Gulf beaches. Somebody could take a property like that and either live in it. Of course, it'd be great to live there. You're surrounded by millionaires, just a beautiful, beautiful area. But you can rent it out also. Now, you can't do short-term rentals on this particular home. Some areas, people love to do those short-term rentals, but even if you're buying properties like this and holding them for the long term, it's bound to appreciate.
Absolutely. Yes. So somebody could actually purchase that home if they're planning on moving into it as a primary residence. Then they could do first and second mortgage and do 10% down. Typically on it, anytime you're above $510,000, $510,400, it becomes what is called a jumbo loan. And that's 20% down, but you could do a first mortgage of the $510,400 and put 10% down and do the second mortgage. We set that up as well. So there's a lot of financing options that people have. Again, a lot of people have, they think they have to do certain things to be able to purchase any of these homes. But as far as investment properties, yes, they could buy that. And, I know Clearwater Beach, I believe, doesn't allow the monthly rentals or the daily or whatever. But I think they do allow a little longer terms. So but you're absolutely right. The appreciation according to core logic is always going to be has been, and they are predicting it's going to be very, very strong. So a minimum of 3.9% is what the last thing I heard. So you're in 1 year, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great opportunity right now. People are making lots of money in real estate. A lot of investors, a lot of folks are buying and renting and utilizing those properties as short-term rentals. The ability to also, for an owner-occupied property, you can buy up to 4 units. A lot of people don't realize that, and it's another misconception is that they think they have to buy a single-family home. But you can buy up to 4 units, live in one side, rent the other 3 out, and now you've got massive cash flow coming in, and you've got a place to live. So great opportunities in real estate. Stay with us. More from Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, and we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we got a real-life Willy Wonka story, Jelly Belly founder to give away Candy Factory and nationwide treasure hunt. That's coming up in our feel-good story of the day. And also coming up, we've got Kristian Krempel. He's a movie producer right here in Tampa Bay, and producer Power Station is his company. More from him and Diane Vance right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
My name is James DeJerome, and I produce the Consumer Quarterback Show for Brandon Rhymes. The Consumer Quarterback Show is a team, a group of like-minded professionals who partner together to provide our audience sound advice, knowledge, and information to make them wiser consumers. We work with all types of business owners and aggressively promote our local economy. We're currently conducting interviews for our expert contributors. If you own a business or know someone who would benefit from the exposure our show provides, please contact us at 813-750-0550 or online at consumerqb.com.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. That is our goal, serving as your consumer advocate. We're also a top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay, ranking in the top 1% of all realtors here in the area. A couple of hot listings. We got some properties here in Tampa Bay that we like to promote. We like to promote our real estate properties live on air on our show, giving our sellers extra exposure and a unique buying opportunity for buyers out there to see these properties right when they hit the market. We've got some properties here in Tampa Bay. This one is 6128 Oak Ridge Avenue in Newport Richey. This property is on the waterfront. It's a gorgeous home, and it's over 4,100 square feet. You've got bay access as well, so you got a riverfront home with a boat dock. Bring your boat, go out fishing for the day, enjoy the best Florida lifestyle, the best that the Florida lifestyle has to offer right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Also, 8001 U.S. Highway 301. This is out in Riverview, so East Hillsborough County. You've got an opportunity to buy a commercial property. There's two buildings on the property at 8001 U.S. Highway 301 in Riverview. It's an intersection with a red light. 50,000 vehicles a day coming by. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And this segment is brought to you by the Golf Cart Depot of Tampa Bay, a.k.a. Discovery Golf Carts. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. It's a great time to purchase golf carts, enjoy driving around and taking out, the family for the little cruises around the neighborhood. Enjoy the Golf Cart Depot. They've got the Easy Go, Star EV, Cushman, and all types. They got a Lando Lakes location, Clearwater location. Golf Cart Depot, one of our partners of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check them out online. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, we're going to go back to Diane Vance here in a moment. We got Kristian Krempel coming up as well on the Consumer Quarterback Show. But Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, local expert contributor for all things mortgage. What else are you seeing out there, Diane? It's an interesting time in the markets. It really is, with all the different things happening. Of course, the election year. What are you seeing on a grand scale?
Oh, a grand scale is that I don't see it slowing down. That's
right.
a good thing. But I'll tell you, I see a lot of confusion out there because we have a lot of customers that don't understand the actual loan process itself. So people don't really understand. They think they can go online and kind of start looking at houses and just make an appointment to go out and have a realtor show them the house. Well, the realtor will not show houses. Typically, it's a good idea to always get a pre-approval. Right. Now, pre-approval is basically where we pull a credit report. We talk about your credit. We get your W-2s, your pay stubs. We run automated approval system so that you know before you go out and fall in love with a home that you're able to purchase a home. And typically what we do is we will qualify them for the maximum amount. Some people don't like to do that, but that's okay. We find out what their needs are, where they're comfortable, and then we go ahead and as they actually start looking at homes, it's funny how they start out, I only want to buy, $250,000 house, but they can't really find anything they like in the $250,000 range. So they kind of know that, okay, I can go up to $350,000. So then they start looking and edging up higher or lower depending on their situation, but they have to go through that process. A lot of people think just calling up a lender and giving them your information, that's called a pre-qualification. That does not count. Realtors want to know that you're able to purchase a home. So they don't want to, they have a seller that they're representing, their time. They want to make sure that you're also going to have a great experience during the purchase of a home. So that's a big confusion out there for people.
Yeah, it really is, and it's just a respectful thing to do, is to get pre-approved before you start taking someone's time, a real estate agent's time. It's interesting how the real estate agents are perceived sometimes, and in any industry, there's good, better, and best. So you really got to make sure you're working with the best as well. That's one of the things that you look at, and a lot of times people say, oh, well, I've got my friend's kid's soccer coach or something, and he sells one or two houses on the side a year. You really got to evaluate that decision, because as a seasoned professional, I've worked with the other agents on the other side, and it's just challenging sometimes because they don't really know the steps of the process, what to do, what not to do, and how things are supposed to flow.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of steps, too, and I don't think people realize how many steps there are, and that's why it's a good idea to get exactly right, Brandon, is to get somebody professional that knows what they're doing, because it can be a difference of you getting a home and not getting a home. I mean, it really can be. I mean, if you have several, you go out and you go out and fall in love with a home, and then you have 3 other offers, and you don't have a pre-approval. Guess what? Your offer, because it does take time to get a pre-approval. It usually takes, to do one pre-approval. It's probably maybe 2 to 3 hours, and you already have appointments set for that day. So you want to make sure that you are planning and planning and planning before you actually take that first step to actually make an appointment with a realtor to go out. And then when you do find a realtor, make sure that they're experienced.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. You want to look at that. We're talking with Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Now, we always talk about as well, we have William Crowley, our credit magician, our credit man. It's funny, he says he's credit magician on the radio, but he's the credit man in the hood. That's what he says. So he's a great guy. He's been a longtime friend of the program. Now, Diane, when it comes to credit, what are we looking at right now? Are people challenged still from some of the mortgage meltdown hangover with the foreclosure short sales? Are you still seeing some of that, or it's kind of a mixed bag?
Some of that, I will tell you, the biggest challenge a lot of times is that, something may have happened to them back then, but it was years before anybody actually foreclosed or did anything on that home. So we are seeing that pop up, which is kind of odd, but it does happen. So we're seeing a little bit of that. Recently, we're seeing a lot of the people that are in forbearance, which is fine. But you want to make sure that you understand when you go into forbearance, you do have to make that up before you actually, that whatever you didn't pay, let's say it's your student loans or whatever, you want to have it up current, or your mortgage payment or whatever it is before you actually buy a new home. We are seeing an uptick a little bit in the credit scores not being as high as they need to be. I think I mentioned earlier today that we have a lot of online applications that come through our website, and a lot of those folks do need Williams. So they self-evaluate what their credit score is, and a lot of people think their credit score is higher. The mortgage company is a different algorithm than what you see on Credit Karma or what you see on your credit cards that you get in the mail, or how you can go and see your FICO credit score. The FICO credit score on the mortgage is totally different. And so William is an expert at letting people know what they need to do to improve the credit. And he advises them so that they're within the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And he actually gives them specific items to go do, which is really good because a lot of people don't do it that way. So there's a lot of things you can do to validate your debt, and William is expert on that. So I don't even go into that part of it because, I have enough to do. So I make sure that whenever I need to get William involved, we kind of just forward it to him. So he's very good at what he does. And and he's reasonable. I mean, his prices are reasonable for most credit repair companies. He's not a credit repair. He's, I guess, a credit restoration maybe. He does help people restore their credit. But he guides you to do that. So that's very helpful for people. And then they understand why. For the future, then they have those tools to be able to understand if they get a collection account, what they need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And you are the regional manager for your company. Your company's a top 5 lender in the country. Talk about a little bit about that.
Yes, so I'm an area manager, which means that I have, it just means it's title, but I have several offices and several loan officers. I still produce because I love working with the customer, and we are a national company, and we are in the top 5. We actually are projected to do $100 billion in mortgages this year, and we are way ahead. We're hiring loan officers, we're hiring processors, underwriters, we're hiring as fast as we can, and we are. We're one of the fortunate companies. Our company is a unique company. We're an employee-owned company. They let the local market manager actually run their market because they know it best.
Very good. Always a pleasure, Diane. Thanks so much. We appreciate you calling in, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right. When we come back, more from our Kristian Krempel. He's a special guest here in studio. He's a producer. He's a movie producer. We're going to talk about the movie industry coming to Tampa Bay, some of the jobs, some of the impact to local brands, and also a real-life Willy Wonka story. Jelly Belly founder to give away candy factory and nationwide treasure hunt. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterbacks Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group. And you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, we are clear. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you. You guys have a great day, and I will do Zoom next week. Okay?
Very cool.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Jonathan, let me know when you're ready. You ready? Alrighty, everybody stand by, please.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, your consumer advocate and a top 1% realtor here in Tampa Bay, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. Got a couple of hot listings we'll let you know about here in beautiful Tampa Bay. We got 12208 Four Oaks Road. This one's in Carrollwood. It's in Tampa Bay. It's 5 acres of raw land, vacant land that you can build, you can develop on. I'm one of the rare agents that actually takes residential listings, commercial listings, and vacant land. But this one's a great development opportunity. Listed at $1.8 million. You can put up to 40 units on this property right here in the heart of Tampa Bay, right in Tampa Bay, close to Carrollwood area. Beautiful opportunity here in Tampa. We also have some real estate property, vacant land. I've got a lot in South Tampa as well. 5510 South Elkins. This is in Ballast Point area of Tampa Bay. 5510 South Elkins is a property that's ready to go. It's a build on your own lot, zone residential, Ballast Point, 12 minutes to downtown, and it's a great opportunity to build and purchase real estate right here in Tampa Bay. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And this segment is brought to you by the Bilmar Beach Resort, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. The beautiful Bilmar Beach Resort over in Treasure Island. I'm heading down there in a weekend or two. It's going to be fun, and I always love enjoying that beautiful time on the beaches. They've got 2 pools on site, Sloppy Joe's Beach Bar and Restaurant. Give Clyde Smith, he's the general manager, a call. Let him know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take him up on special offers and stay at the beautiful Bilmar Beach Resort, Treasure Island, Florida, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, Kristian Krempel's in the house. He's a producer, movie producer, lived in L.A., and bringing his talents back home. I love it, man. That's an exciting story.
Hey, welcome, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, my pleasure. So, yeah, when you look at what are some of the differences too when you look at the movie industry out in LA, and then what we're going to try to do here in Tampa Bay, or what you're already doing in Tampa?
Yeah, I think the inherent challenges we've had here is just there's a lot of creative people in the state of Florida, and me being a Floridian, obviously, I want to use as much local talent as I possibly can. But our biggest challenge was when Governor Scott defunded the incentive program that Jeb Bush and Charlie Crist had in place. We lost everything. If you recall, 10 years ago, we had Burn Notice, Bloodline, the Glades, Ballers. Those all left the state because Rick Scott defunded the incentive program. So obviously everybody's heard how well Georgia does, and Tyler Perry and Pinewood Studios, and we were the state of Florida used to be number 3 in productions 15 years ago, and then
why do you think he did that?
So I had a couple conversations with him in his terms, and he comes from a healthcare background, and it's not a creative background. He didn't see the value somehow or another. He thought, well, his argument was he was funding Visit Florida.
Okay.
And he thought, well, what's the point of funding movies in the state of Florida? Whereas he was confused. Visit Florida is more of a transactional, runs in other states to come down for the weekend or go to Disney. Yep. Whereas if we have people right now, a huge spike is a great example, a huge spike in the Keys. I talk to the film commissioner frequently down there. We've had a huge spike in the Keys in terms of tourists, just because from Eastern Europeans that have found Bloodline on Netflix, and nobody, everybody knew there was a Miami, and everybody knows that there's a Disney and an Orlando, but nobody knew there was a little chain of islands off the the south.
Yeah.
So that just is a great example. They have a 400%. I think it was like 400% spike up until the COVID virus. So it shows you that if you make something here in the great state of Florida, that'll reside in infamy on many platforms to come.
Yeah, absolutely. It just makes so much sense. You get the trickle down effect. You get all the different staff, people looking at it. You get the energy that's generated from producing film and just the buzz that creates, especially now with social media.
Yeah.
Everybody's posting and reposting and sharing and all that good stuff.
So we're all content creators now, right? Everybody's at home. And I think if anything happened through the pandemic here, what it's forced us all to do is figure out how to make content remotely. For example, we were in the middle of, or in the second episode of a 6-episode horror series here with my partners, Dan Myrick from Blair Witch and Jeffrey Reddick from Final Destination and Tom McLaughlin from Friday the 13th and Danny McBride of Underworld. So we have this 6 iconic directors that we're doing 6 different episodes, short content, 15 to 18 minutes. And we January, February started out so great. 2020. We knocked out. We had the best time.
Yeah.
Had Sally Kirkland, an Oscar nominee, as in a cameo. Just had like a really great time.
Yeah.
We were crewing up 9 days away from episode 2. I don't know. Somehow we got stuck in the Saturn rings, and here we are 7-8 months later going around Saturn nonstop.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I got a button for that, right? It's like this one.
Come on, man.
It's like, come on, man. We're here. Everybody's rolling. Momentum's going. Election year. I wonder what happened. I wonder if it's the election year, right?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I know it's what people don't realize about filmmaking is what we call the above the line or the artists. Last year I came back here 20 months ago with. The Steinbrenner family had called me and asked me if I was interested in bringing films back to Tampa. So I came back here and formed up an old friendship with the DeBarlos and Don Miggs, and we did a movie called Fear of Rain here with Harry Connick and Katherine Heigl and Madison Eisman, and the film commission down here has been wonderful. The county, the mayor, Mayor Castor's been very supportive. The city of Tampa, or Clearwater and St. Pete, they've been extremely supportive. And what we've seen now over 7 months, and what people don't understand, is the above the line people probably have some money, but the guys, the people that we take care of and give jobs to, the grips, the electrical, the lighting, all these people are on suicide watch right now.
Yeah.
Because they haven't been able to, none of us can go back to work. I can't film I can't crew anything right now. It's I can't even get a permit to do it. Nor are the optics good. We're not cowboys. We're not going to lead the way with during the pandemic. But so it's forced us to work remotely.
Yeah, it's challenging. When you look at how it's affected a lot of businesses, luckily for us, real estate was deemed essential. We were able to keep closing deals. People are moving. It's they have to live somewhere. And we talked earlier about the mass migration from New York, New Jersey, California, et cetera. So the challenges in what you've seen with COVID and how it's affected so many businesses, the airline industry, for example, they were already running on very thin margins. People think the airlines, they must make a ton of money.
Subsidized by the government. They're subsidized by the government.
Very thin margins. So that's interesting. You talked about Governor Scott defunding the movie industry here locally. What's on the upside? What are we looking for? Because I remember we were talking a little bit about some tax incentives potentially to make these movies, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think that's where the county, it helps that you have Bill Gates in here and Jeff Vinnick spending a sizable amount of money in downtown Tampa, and the Super Bowl supposedly coming here this year. We'll see how that all plays out. But if it doesn't come here this year, it'll probably come next year. But Tampa is perfectly positioned in what Dan Myrick, my partner, and anybody that been around a little while, 40 years old or above, will remember the Blair Witch Project, which, Dan and I are both Florida natives. We're from Sarasota, and so is Danny McBride of Underworld. And, we've been out in L.A. for decades, working out there, and we figured there's no one better than the Guinness World Book of Record holder of the man who spent the least and made the most on a movie. He spent it's on the cover of Time and U.S. News, and so he spent $50,000 on a movie, and it made north of $250 million. So I mean, he's the right guy for the job, right? If we're going to come in and have to bootstrap things together, and the county has been, it's not so much incentives, but more of like marketing dollars. They have a program in place that they've made available to us to. And a lot of that's just lead up to Super Bowl. Not knowing the pandemic was going to happen, the more times we get Tampa out there globally or through the web or streaming, and the better for all of us.
Yeah,
especially in the real estate market. I mean, I've heard that there's 5,000 people a week leaving Los Angeles, and I know 3 of my friends, those big directors, have all left the city of LA because no one's working. You can't, and the governor said you're not going to work until probably beginning of next year sometime.
Yeah.
And those houses are $25,000 a month. So
it's unbeliable.
You can't stay. You got to go.
Exactly. Yeah, it's unbelievable the impact that we're going to see. It's such a great place to be. The absence of a state income tax, the weather. Of course, every now and then you get a hurricane, you get storms, but luckily
it seems to miss us.
Where Tampa's positioned, there's a couple of different reasons why. I had a business calculus teacher in school taught me one time about how the storms come and how they flow and how they spin, and it's
then
like
they take off, right?
Yeah, we're one of the least likely to get hit.
Yeah, for some reason, being a Florida native, I mean, back in '84, I think it was, I was in high school, and we had Hurricane Elena hit the Longboat Key where Dan and I grew up, and it did some erosion there. But since then, I think the majority of them. I was here in 2005 where they had 4 come through at one time.
That's right. They crisscrossed right around Port Charlotte.
But again, it missed the Tampa Bay area, and it's the same thing that we talked about offline. Is what we want to do for the city of Tampa it's already been done. I was heavily involved in Austin and helping Austin become the independent music capital of the world, and we're never going to be able to compete with Georgia and the incentives they have up there. So you're right. The lack of a state income tax, that 8%. I mean, if you think about what you could do with your 8% every year, that's one heck of a vacation for a family, right?
Well, what's DeSantis done? Is he kind of helping out a little bit? Is he?
So that's great. I mean, right, DeSantis. We've had a couple House bills that would give us some incentive money for projects that would be $100,000 to $3 million, which is exactly where we want to be in terms of independent film.
Right.
Yeah, if we're going to build an industry back up here, we're not going to start out with $30 million films. At least I'm not. I'm not going to spend my investors' money on $30 million films. But because you can make great films on a modest budget. So DeSantis, he's shown a heck of a lot of support. He said he wouldn't veto the bill if it had made it through the House.
Yeah.
And then guess what?
It didn't make it through the House.
No, it made it through the House, but pandemic.
Oh.
So
the pandemic.
Yeah, pandemic. He's been focused on that, and I haven't talked to him. We got to get back to showcasing the great state of Florida. I mean, he's done a wonderful job keeping the state open.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate that my industry and the music business both can't outwork at all.
Right.
And we're getting zero help from the government. So it can cause a lot of anxiety. But I know that when we get back open here, there's enough. The good news is nobody else is making content either. So the fact that we're already positioned with a series that's already approved and set and funded, we're going to be sought after because of the names and because everybody needs content.
Exactly. People, I want to talk to you about that when we come back from the break. I want to talk about the unique time that we're in as far as timing goes for the industry, movies, limited series, production-wise, and then also, again, a little bit about Captain Will Smith and his story, the falling from the sky that we're talking about, and we're looking to potentially produce here as a joint venture together. And so, some of the things, because I think the timing is good for his story. He was falsely imprisoned, got out of prison, and got a judge thrown off the bench. So it's an interesting story. More from Kristian Krempel when we come back. Also, our feel-good story of the day. Every day we tell you something positive, and this one's about the Jelly Belly founder to give away Candy Factory in nationwide treasure hunt. Now, that would be cool. All right, stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
The This is Diane Vance with Fairway Independent Mortgage, a member of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please give me a call for any of your mortgage needs. We do all sorts of loans. If you would like information on a mortgage, you can text me or call me at 727-647-8199. I will take care of all your mortgage needs. Go to my website at dianevance.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory market, so any of our listeners are homeowners and would like a free comparable market analysis or a 2.5% listing, we will honor this for the first 3 listeners who call or text in 813-773-1253. Free CMA and a 2.5% real estate listing at 813-773-1253. Check out consumerqb.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, giving a shout out to Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our friends over at Brothers Easy Moving, whether you're planning a local or long distance move, reach out to Brothers Easy Moving. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. 520 George Street South. This is a waterfront beauty right here in Tampa Bay on Lake Tarpon, which is a 2,500-acre lake right here in Tampa Bay. You've got a waterfront view, wide open views, boat dock, mother-in-law suite, great opportunities at 520 George Street South in Tarpon Springs. Compliments of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And we also have a car dealership for sale, 19206 U.S. Highway 19 North in Clearwater. This one is a large acreage of land on U.S. 19 in Tampa Bay. Car dealership available at 19206 U.S. Highway 19 North, right here in Tampa Bay. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
Every day we're going to tell you something positive here in our feel-good story.
Tell me something good.
All right, so the founder of the Jelly Belly Candy Company is giving away one of his candy factories as a part of a nationwide treasure hunt. David Klein, the founder of Jelly Belly Beans and Tricky Treasures, is getting ready to retire. But first, he's going to give back to everyone who loved the candy industry like he does. In a press release, it was revealed that golden tickets are going to be hidden nationwide for everyone to find. Once every state has a chance to join the treasure hunt, each person who entered will be eligible to search the ultimate treasure hunt, which will get the winner a key to his candy factory. That's pretty cool. He's also paying for candy making classes. Each treasure hunt is valued at $5,000, and it's $49.99 to enter each hunt. And what a cool story. Real life Willy Wonka. That's an interesting story in our Feel Good segment of the day. All right, we got Kristian Krempel in studio. Power Station is the company. Got a great all-star of folks that's helping them make movies right here in Tampa Bay. And we're talking about teaming up as well. William Smith, Falling from the Sky. What did you like about his story, Kristian? And we talked a little bit about the timing. It seems like the timing is good for a story, a redemption story like that.
Well, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's always about 90% of everything's about timing, getting the product out at the right time. Like, I don't know if this would have had the bandwidth it will have now 3-4 years ago.
Right.
And, I think we've all seen not just the pandemic, but, combine the civil unrest and a much needed recorrection to the penal system and some oversight, some consumer oversight. And I think that had he had that consumer oversight in his story, much like there's other people that are in jail that shouldn't be there. And
right.
He's got a perseverance story, and I think that's what we need now. We need, I'm not interested in any, I've had enough bad news. I won't even watch the Joker, and I heard it's a great movie, but
Yeah,
too much for me. It's just
I was
too
let
much.
down with that.
It's too dark for me right now, and I think there's enough dark stuff out there. And having feel-good, uplifting stories, perseverance, and his energy is unbelievable. So I really think we can do a great job here. I know we'll be able to do a great job here and just conveying that story. And I think the sooner that thing gets out, the better.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited about it. Real excited about things happening in that specific area, but also just in general, what we're talking about, Tampa Bay. It seems to be such a great area. We've got some challenges. Yeah, transportation is somewhat of a challenge in Tampa Bay, and of course, limited inventory. We need more sellers out there. Anybody thinking about selling? Now's the time. So reach out. We'd love to talk to you. But yeah, some great stuff happening, and the industry. I love what you were saying earlier about trying to work together, a collaborative. I think now more than ever, it's a time for a collaborative approach to business.
Sure, and that's. I think you bring up a great point. I mean, with the lack of incentives here that I had to get very. The line items still exist on the budget, but as we were talking prior, you're coming in and work and networking and collaborating with the people that live in the community, and knowing that I'm a Tampa native and I have accountability here. I can go to the different businesses, whether 717 Parking or some of these wonderful businesses out there, and ask them for favors, because they all live in Tampa too. The more we showcase and the more we work together with the real estate market, everybody's wanting to come to Florida now, and I think it's just great timing for the growth, like the rebranding of Florida. Like 20 years ago we had Orlando, and that was like pop rock and what we call in LA all the content that came out of Florida 20 years ago was the Florida filter. It always heavily lit like daytime television.
Right.
So you can always tell when something was made in Florida.
Okay.
So now coming back here with our all of my guys want to be back here working, networking, and working with the community, because we're all going to get there together, man.
Talk a little bit about how the game has changed. You bring up a good point about 15, 20 years ago. You had your typical NBC, ABC, Fox. You had HBO, etc. Now you've got so many, Apple TV, Amazon, Roku, the Netflix, etc. It's just such a different landscape. It seems like more opportunity. And you mentioned earlier, they're looking for content.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, it seems like, and even me that works in this business, and the landscape, the television landscape, so fragmented. I can't remember if I was watching something on Netflix the night before or Apple TV, and I think that's the big problem. The networks are the same way. No one really goes to CBS unless it's a specific. It's not like back in the day when you had hardwired cable. Now with the options, I think people are looking for very tailored content, and that's why you see like the do-it-yourself channel and the gardening channel. Everybody wants they don't want to sit around and it's like the old days of listening to the buying an album, getting a CD for one song. You had to listen to 13 other ones just for that one. So I think here in the new content, in the new world, we can create content specifically for our audience, and we have a very specific audience in horror. And every one of my guys from Friday that created Friday the 13th and the Underworlds, everybody's watched those. We have a very loyal audience, and I think it's a great opportunity to bring to Florida and Ybor City, for example, and just move it around Tampa Bay. I mean, our goal is to move this around Tampa Bay and work with real estate and local businesses.
Yeah. There's a lot of great brands around here that we should definitely brainstorm and try to bring into this movie that we're going to be doing. By the way, if you just joined us, we're talking with Kristian Krempel. Power Station is his company. He's a producer, movie producer right here in Tampa Bay, looking for big opportunities out here in Tampa Bay. Real excited about potentially teaming up, Falling from the Sky with Captain Will Smith, something that we're working on. Projects that he's been involved with, Blair Witch Project, Final Destination, Friday the 13th, 300, the movie, or his partners have been involved with. We got a couple minutes left. What's important to mention here? What am I overlooking here, Kristian?
Well, I think just the message I try to get out there is building Tampa, kind of like what Austin for music. We could do that here in indie film, and I just need the community to help me. I mean, I don't have Apple behind me. My partner's Dan Myrick, Blair Witch Project. He's known for spending the least and making the most. So that should tell people out there we're we're extremely responsible, and I just need the community, because I have resisted taking any money from outside of the city of Tampa. This is going to be all Tampa all the time.
Nice.
If I took any money from Los Angeles and this thing started taking off, they just come in here and gobble it up.
Yeah.
And this has to stay here. And there's a lot of parents out there that wish they had some type of film and creative projects for their kids to work on. I mean, Florida State has a great film school.
Good point.
Nobody's filming. When's the last movie you saw filmed in Tallahassee?
Right.
So if you're a dad and you're going to send somebody to a film school in Tallahassee, they're not going to get any work right now.
Yeah.
So, it's one of the things that we've tried to talk with USF about long-term goals and education and building that, passing that knowledge on to the next generation of filmmaker. At the same time, having them teach us, the millennials, teach us how to do stuff.
Yeah. You mentioned Bloodline earlier. I love seeing the keys in these movies. I love seeing it. I remember growing up, there was one, Just Cause, that was actually filmed in my hometown, LaBelle, Florida. There was some scenes from LaBelle. So awesome stuff. Hey, thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Thanks for
it.
having me, man.
Yeah, my pleasure. And as we always end our show, we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And there's lots of ways that you can engage with us at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter, the Consumer Quarterback Show page on Facebook, as well as Instagram, and Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Realty. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.